This is the Find X2 Pro, the culmination of everything Oppo has been working on for as long as we can remember. Years of R&D, innovation, and countless experiments. The result? A smartphone that's so good, it's so refined that it can compete with the best of the best. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Hi, I'm Michael Josh. You're watching Gadget Match. In this video, we'll unbox and review the Oppo Find X2 Pro. Okay, here we go. This box is huge. I'm going to guess that this is not the retail box of the Find X2 Pro, but let's open it up anyway. First, a special message. Oppo Find X2 Pro, uncover the ultimate. Underneath all of that, two things, a plastic jelly case, and the actual box of the Find X2 Pro. Let's get at it. Open, wait for it, sesame. Here we have another box which houses the SIM ejector tool and some paperwork. The phone itself, but let's set it aside for now. Also in the box, a wall charger, but not just any wall charger. It's a SuperVOOC 2.0 charger. Here in this tiny box, a pair of wired headphones, extra ear tips, and a USB-C cable. Notice the matching yellow accents inside. Now back to the phone. Let's peel this off and get on with our review. First things first, we need to talk about design. And how can you not? With this bright orange faux leather finish and gold accents. It's almost Hermes-like. People who prefer subdued colors might prefer the black ceramic option, which is available too. But we love how bold and different this orange leather finish is. And I've been wanting leather to make a comeback on premium smartphones. Just promise me one thing. Don't ever use this plastic jelly case that ships with the phone. The Oppo Find X2 Pro deserves better. Even the mid-range Oppo Reno 2 came bundled with a faux leather case, and not only did it protect the phone, it also made it feel more sturdy and premium. Speaking of the Reno series, we miss its original symmetrical design. When the first Reno came out, we praised Oppo for finally having found a design language that they can call their own. It looked like this, and it was refreshing to see after many years of iPhone clones from the company. While the Find X2 doesn't look like the iPhone, the design still feels a bit unoriginal. It reminds us of Huawei's P series that also came in leather finishes. It doesn't have the same wow factor the original Find X had when it came out. That phone had a beautiful curved edge-to-edge display and hidden cameras that popped up when prompted. But while that phone was stunning, I remember it to be fragile and a little bit gimmicky, almost like an unfinished product. The Find X2 Pro is the complete opposite, and so while its looks can easily get lost in a sea of Android phones, it's built great, feels solid, and its size is just right. It feels great in the hands and not as hefty as like on previous Reno models. Something you will enjoy holding and using on a daily basis. And if you ask me, I'll take something that's solidly built and refined over anything that's flashy and has a wow factor that may fade away eventually. Oh, and before I forget, the Find X2 Pro is finally water and dust resistant. You still shouldn't submerge it in liquid, especially with the finish, but in case it happens, you'll know your phone is protected. The smartphone display is one object we look at and interact with the most. That's why it was important for Oppo to put its best display ever on the Find X2 series. Watching Our Planet on Netflix almost feels too real, especially with HDR video enhancement. Colors pop, and more importantly, are accurate. Outdoors, the phone can hold its own. Reading articles for extended periods of time is enjoyable, even when the sun is out and bright on a day like this. Mobile gamers will also enjoy playing their favorites on the Find X2 Pro with its top-of-the-line specs and 120Hz refresh rate, once a feature only found in gaming smartphones. On top of that is a 240Hz sampling rate, which might come in handy when you want the phone to register your taps faster than your opponents. Oppo is proud of its curved displays, similar to what we've seen on Samsung phones for many years, and more recently on OnePlus devices. And while I agree it's sexy looking, I've come to prefer flat displays on smartphones they are more practical. On the Find X2 Pro, Oppo adds a new Color OS feature called Smart Sidebar. This thing over here. By swiping from the edge of the screen, you can access shortcuts so that you can launch apps faster. Oh, and speaking of Color OS, app icons are no longer the hodgepodge that they used to be. Overall, the experience is now more refined and less like a clone of iOS. One department that Oppo says they've been spending a lot of time and resources in is in the camera department. And if you ask me, it's paid off. This year, they partnered with Sony to customize the image sensor on the device. Two features stand out from this partnership. 100% focusable pixels, meaning every pixel on the sensor can be used for autofocus, and dramatically improved low light performance. While not significantly faster than top phones in the market, autofocus is indeed very fast on the Find X2 Pro. Low light performance is also very impressive. Take a look at these shots I took in a room with only a candle as a light source. And here are some night shots we took around New York. And before we forget, here are some sample photos we shot during the day. Now, so far we've only been talking about the main camera, but the Find X2 Pro has two other cameras. One has an ultra-wide angle lens, which is fine, but not as wide as what you'll get from the S20 Plus, for example. Up here on top is a periscope camera that delivers 10x hybrid zoom. I'm told it's close to 6x optical. This is 1x, 2x, 5x, and 10x. Here's another example. 1x, 2x, 5x, and 10x. Now, I expect the phone to get compared a lot to the Galaxy S20 Plus from Samsung, so I took both phones out and shot some comparison shots. You'll find that regardless of shooting conditions, the Find X2 Pro can hold its own. In this shot, the Find X2 Pro delivers a photo with shallower depth of field. The S20 Plus, on the other hand, is guilty of upping up the saturation. Consistently, the Find X2 Pro does a better job at HDR, exposing more of the shadowy areas, as seen in this photo. At night, it can also hold its own in low light situations, but the Find X2 Pro doesn't do as good as a job in terms of white balance, with its photos tending towards the warm side. In this photo of my bookshelf, the Find X2 Pro's photo looks very bright, even if it was dimly lit. I always say that for any challenger to be taken seriously, it's got to have an excellent camera, and this phone delivers. It even recently topped DxOMark's smartphone camera rankings, matching the scores of the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. What? A whole section on selfies? Well, you have to remember, back in the day when Oppo was establishing itself as the king of mid-range smartphones, they made their brand on the idea of them being the selfie expert. Its F series were some of the most popular phones because of it. Today, Oppo no longer uses that as a marketing strategy, but that doesn't mean it's abandoned its selfie game entirely. Oppo says the beauty algorithm on the Find X2 series has been updated to make skin tones more real. Here are some samples that you can see for yourself. My only pet peeve is the location of the selfie camera. Because it's flushed on the left-hand side of the phone, you'll always be looking down at the camera in your photos. You've got to hand it to Oppo. They've been a pioneer in fast charging tech. And their latest iteration is now called SuperVOOC 2.0. It's the fastest charging technology in the industry to date. Fully charging the Find X2 Pro's battery takes only 38 minutes. Now you might be wondering, how is this safe? Well, the Find X2 Pro comes with a customized battery safety monitoring chip. which not just monitors the battery status during charging, but also tracks whether the battery is damaged over time. VOOC technology also offers 5 levels of security protection from the power adapter, the wire inside the cable, and in the handset itself. And in the years that we've been testing and reviewing Oppo smartphones, not once have we run into problems with regards to charging, so this claim is something that we can vouch for. So, is the Oppo Find X2 Pro your gadget match? Well, that's not an easy question to answer, and I'm not going to mince words. This phone is expensive. I'm going to use UK pricing because this phone is not available in the US. As you'll see here, it's a tad bit more expensive than the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus. Can it command this price point? Well, yes and no. It's delivered in every aspect, especially in those that are most important to us, camera and battery life. But those who are willing to spend the money for an iPhone or a Galaxy are willing to pay the premium for an Apple or Samsung smartphone. And that really boils down to brand prestige, something that Oppo hopes to achieve one day. Now, that takes time. And bluntly put, a better strategy would be at least to undercut its competitors with slightly lower pricing. Even $100 lower would have been incentive enough for people who are unfamiliar with the brand to go out and maybe try it, and for reviewers like me to be able to make that solid recommendation. And really, if you ask me, this phone deserves the attention. And that was our Oppo Find X2 Pro unboxing and review. What about you? Is Oppo a brand that you're familiar with? Have you used an Oppo phone? And if you haven't, is this the phone that makes you want to go out and try Oppo? Let me know in the comment section below, and we'll feature some of your answers in our next video. Until then, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time and as soon as we post a new video. Follow us on social media for all the behind the scenes fun stuff. And as always, make gadgetmatch.com your daily habit. Until the next video, I'm Michael Josh. Thanks for dropping by.